Hi there. First of all, I'd just like to apologise for these presentations. Due to failing eyesight, I really can't do the sort of video editing that I used to do in the past with my videos years ago with psychedelic colours and trees and music and all that kind of stuff. All I can manage really is to screen capture my doodlings on a whiteboard. I'm sorry about that. It's rather crude, rudimentary presentation of the Church of Nowhere, I know. And probably nobody's going to watch my videos because they're too long, too boring, visually boring, and you have to listen to my voice droning on and on. But I'm having fun making these videos, and that's the main thing. After all, I don't really care about you, actually, listener or viewer. Sorry about that. Anyway, and this brings me on to the presentation of the Church of Nowhere. I mean, what with me and my whiteboard and my doodlings and my completely boring video channel, and Danny Shine with his megaphone annoying everybody. and getting himself a reputation for being a gadfly after the great Socrates. And look what happened to him. They made him drink the hemlock to shut him up, basically. Anyway, because he made people question themselves and he questioned everything around him, and he just pointed out the absurdity of the human condition and the absurdity especially of human beliefs, and the fact that the sheeple just do everything they're told to do and just follow everybody else. They won't follow their own star. They just literally follow the celebrities or the rich ruling classes and the people they think are cool, etc. And nothing's changed. Ancient Greece was exactly the same as it is now. And that's what Socrates was moaning about and trying to get people to change, and they literally executed him for that. Actually, they executed him for corrupting the young of Athens, which actually, I'm afraid to say, was probably literally true, because he did like to watch young boys in the gymnasium, very young boys, that is, and he probably did a bit of anal intercourse as well, which was actually against the law and actually punishable by death in ancient Athens. Even though you could be gay, you were only allowed to masturbate against another man's thigh. You weren't allowed to do anal intercourse, officially anyway. But that's another video, really. Anyway, Daddy Shine, a bit like Socrates, he goes, pokes his nose in where it isn't wanted and makes people feel uncomfortable and upset with his dark satire, and his slightly anti-human stance. Or maybe not slightly, maybe a lot, actually. I mean, who can blame him, quite frankly? Anyway, so presentation, it could be better as far as the Church of Nowhere is concerned, or the Church of Nothing. We could have swanky presentation and get to a lot more people and do a lot more SEO but apart from Danny Shine going out very bravely into the streets of London and heading, looking at the beast head on, as it were, mocking the mob, as it were, and me with my doodlings on my YouTube channel, which no one's ever heard of. And maybe I'll make a website which probably won't be SEO'd and nobody will have heard of that either. And so you could say, well, it's all just self-indulgent, grow up, and all this kind of stuff. If you've got something to say it, or don't say anything at all unless it's positive. And all this kind of stuff, which is what Russell Brand is doing. He's being all positive, thinking about everything. And everybody likes that because it doesn't make them feel uncomfortable about themselves, but actually makes them feel positive about themselves, which is actually a good thing. I mean, there's a moral there, you see, because what happens is that you make people feel good about themselves rather than appealing to their greedy side or their fearful side. And then they don't stand in judgment before the Lord, as it were, as the Torah has it. And then you probably don't really get anywhere or change anything very much, because, but over the years, perhaps you do have a slight influence on people. But if you really, really want to, if a Church of Noah really wants to present its arguments and its belief systems, I have to recommend something. Never mind the YouTube channels, never mind the megaphones. School packs, okay, school educational packs. They are absolutely great, and if you want to get change the next generation, school education packs, SEP for short, very, 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 very influential and very effective. Decades ago, the environmentalist movement, or some would say the environmentalist religion, produced SEP in great quantities, school education packs, because teachers are always tearing their hair out as to what to teach the little buggers. Oh, sorry, I'm just not swear. I shouldn't swear on this channel. They're tearing their hair out, and if they can get packs with facts and figures and arguments and all nicely swankily presented. And they give these out to the children, and the children think they're quite nice and colourful. And you do get to children that way. So environmentalists did that. They had these SEPs, these school education packs, and by the dozen. Also, the European Union had them as well, and that's why everybody is so pro-Europe, because they've been thoroughly brainwashed at school level by the SEPs of the EU, and etc. etc. In fact, the Workers' Education Association, right back in the 19th century, began to spread Marxism by actually spreading it amongst the schools. They had their own. Well, they didn't just teach children; they taught adults as well to read and write, and a lot of Marxist propaganda to top it all. So education is the key to any church. Get your school education packs out there. Teachers love them. They don't really mind what it is. You could actually really almost sell anything you like, basically, any idea at all. And in 10 years' time, you will see massive fruits from that activity, because a lot of children will grow up thinking that what they were taught in schools, these school education packs, are the norms, values, and beliefs that really matter. And in fact, what was sort of weird and wacky becomes totally mainstream, because the next generation just accept it all without questioning any of it. And that's basically So get to the children, as in fact Socrates did. He corrupted the young of ancient Athens by making them question authority. And you can do the same with your school education packs, your SEPs. So look out for these from the Church of Nowhere. And we've got our norms, values, and beliefs, and we're going to sort of get out there and influence the next generation. So even though Danny Shine and his megaphone won't do very much at the moment, if he goes to the educational institutes and schools of London, which he actually has done. He's done a little bit of that, but not very much, because now apparently you're not supposed to take photographs or video footage of children and all that. So it's a bit sort of kibosh, that really. They get a bit sort of funny about that if you take pictures outside schools and all that kind of stuff, absolutely ridiculous load of nonsense, of course, but and how convenient as well to stop Danny Shines of this world from megaphoning schools. They can really just make them move on. But there's no conspiracy theory in that, I suppose. It's sort of reasonable, really, on one level. But anyway, so that's it. Presentation is everything. School education packs is everything. Influence the next generation. You see the fruit of all your hard work coming to fruition in about 10 years. Which is how long it takes for children to get through the secondary education system, 8 to 10 years anyway, perhaps a little bit more, 12, maybe 12 years probably. So in 12 years, that which was wacky and mad and naughty and weird and destructive of corporate power becomes mainstream. And then the corporations can turn around and say, oh dear, we're not very popular anymore because, dear corporations, you didn't bring out your SEPs, did you? Your school education packs, which you should have done from in fact, junior school, first school onwards, but you didn't do that. So we anti-corporatists, anti-globalists, and anti-statists, we're going to have the up on you. Just a little bit of friendly advice there. Anyway, so thank you very much for listening to this little rant, and good luck with preparing your school education packs.